What do your eyes see?
The scammers turned Far East. They're taking the crypto to North Korea.
Should we do something about it?
No, we're good. That's right, Circle Internet Group stood and watched while about $280 million of crypto was stolen by North Korean scammers. So we're going to talk about that. Before that, let's get into what Circle's business is and why they have a role to play. Circle's business model is pretty simple, actually. They mint USDC. That's one of the largest and most trusted dollar stablecoins in the world. Basically, they take real cash and give you a tokenized version that can trade on chain. And then from there, with the cash that they have in reserve, they put it in treasury bills, collect short-term interest rates. They share some of those short-term interest rates with their distributor partners. And then as long as that gross profit is more than their overhead costs, they're profitable. Right now, there's about $78 billion of USDC in circulation. If short-term treasury rates are 3.6%, they give a bit of that to their distributors after their overhead costs. They currently make about $250 million or so, give or take. If they scale up, they can have operating leverage and perhaps grow their earnings faster than the actual rate of growth itself in USDC. So that's the opportunity with Circle. Now, their biggest rival is Tether. Tether mints USDT. This actually has most of the global dollar stablecoin market. Theirs is about 180 billion last I checked. In terms of USD stablecoin market share, Tether usually has about 70% and Circle has 25 to 30%. So let's address the big ugly elephant in the room, the $280 million theft by scammers working for North Korea from Drift Protocol. Drift Protocol was a crypto startup, and over a 6-month period, through a social engineering operation in which the scammers even deposited $1 million of their own capital, they gradually gained access into the mission-critical devices at Drift Protocol. And then on April 1st, they sprang their attack and stole about $280 million over a 6-hour period. Even though they seemed to become aware of the situation pretty early, Circle sat and watched during the full 6 hours without intervening. Funds moved through CCTP, which is Circle's mechanism for managing the flow of funds across blockchains. Many wondered how Drift allowed itself to be socially engineered like that. Some, on the other hand, blamed Circle.
And I think that's the frustration that people have with Circle is that, you have the ability to freeze this.
After several days, Circle responded with a public statement. They said that the situation reflects a gap between the technology and policy, and that Circle only operates within the confines of policy. They only act and intervene to freeze assets like they could have done, and like Tether is known to do many times, when they are under a clear legal mandate to do so.
You think DPRK is going to come into court and say, hey, you artificially froze my money? Like, there's just some arguments that sometimes issuers and exchanges make that is like a BS justification for not freezing.
Now, intriguingly, the market cap of USDC, which is the volume of those stablecoins, did not decline after April 1st. In fact, you see that it increased after that period. So people were not dumping USDC as a response to this attack or Circle's inaction during it. There isn't much of a short-term reaction to this then, but there will probably be a long-term reaction. Users who prefer Circle's approach to compliance and risk, which is to say, to follow the silver rule, to be of a first do no harm mentality, those people who prefer that will be USDC users. Whereas folks who might like more of a golden rule mentality, which is to be actively involved, to be proactive, those will be USDT customers. For practical purposes, I don't see how this really hurts USDC's adoption by major financial institutions, because it's a mindset that is consistent with how they operate. Given the growing use cases for stablecoins with agentic AI and tokenization of real-world assets, major financial players are going to want a compliance-first stablecoin, and right now that's USDC. So while the current market cap of USDC is about 78 billion, realistically I see them getting to about $500 million within the next 5 years or so. I think the bigger risk to Circle is actually interest rate cycles. If the Federal Reserve begins to cut rates quickly after the new chairman is appointed in May, then that will hurt their near-term earnings. But in terms of the base of the pyramid, that reserve of cash that they get from minting more and more USDC, I don't think Circle's really going to lose that. That doesn't mean I think Circle's decision was correct, but that's why I'm not selling the stock and keeping what I got.